Alrighty. Basically for today in our character spotlight, we have the Phantom Stranger. So, publication history for him: the Phantom Stranger first appeared in an eponymous
Appeared in a prom.
He appeared in a porn.
First,
The Phantom Stranger.
it doesn't get no stranger than the Phantom.
No. He first appeared in a 6-issue comic anthology published in 1952. It was created by John Broome and Carmine.
John Broome sounds like a character name.
I know. And Carmine Infantino.
That's a funny character. That's it.
After an appearance in Showcase number 80 in February 1969, he receives another series beginning May through June of 1969 that lasted until February through March of 1976. The Showcase appearance and his first 3 issues of Phantom Stranger consisted of reprints from both the 1950s title and Dr. 13 Ghostbreaker feature from the last 9 issues of the Star Spangled Comics in the same time.
Back then, it must have been like a fucking whole thing when you could like re-get a comic book.
Yeah.
Because like you couldn't just go out there and just grab like a back issue.
No. Which is because him appearing in 1969 and then again in 1976, that's a good
good time frame. Like especially like if you it's that one story you really liked, and then you lost the comic book and you can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like one day you're going through the fucking bin like, oh shit,
he's back.
It's like, oh, he's like the reprints, and I've been looking for this story and I lost them.
Yeah. These had Dr. 13 certain that the Phantom Stranger was an imposter, determined to expose him. Beginning with issue number 4, November through December of 1969, the series began featuring all new material with stories produced by Robert Kanigay, Lynn Wayne, Jim Aparo, Neil Adams, Tony DeZuniga. You gotta be careful of that.
Close one.
And others. In these stories, while the stranger's past remained a mystery, the writers added a semi-regular cast of characters with him. A demonic sorcerer named Tala would become his archenemy. An alchemist slash sorcerer named Tanarak was first an enemy and would later assist him against the Dark Circle. And a blind psychic named Cassandra Kraft would assist him. The stories hinted at a romantic retraction between the stranger and Kraft, but he eventually left her, deciding she could not be a part of his life, convincing her that he had been killed in their final battle against the Dark Circle.
I can't handle this strange. I gotta go.
That's all the porn he has. He just leaves her.
Just leaves with his hat, a trench coat, butt ass naked underneath.
She eventually learned differently and turned up occasionally. Dr. 13 dropped along with the reprints, was given a backup series here as of number 12, 1971. Was morphed into The Spawn of Frankenstein in number 23 in 1973. The second volume originally ended and was a 40-issue, with the 41st issue in November of 1975, cover dated March 1976. In January 2010, a 42nd issue was added to the second series during the Blackest Night event, effectively a one-shot.
The Blackest Night.
So there wasn't anything printed. Just
between them and
75 and 2010.
God dang.
Yeah. A backup series in the saga of the Swamp Thing, number 1 through 13, featured the Phantom Stranger. Most of these were short stories written by Mike Barr. One was written by Paul Livitz. There were mostly morality tales in the style of the Phantom Stranger number 2, without connections to the character's Bronze Age continuity with Batman or the Justice League. One 2-part story explicitly connected with the continuity of Volume 2, continuing the story of Tanarak. After the backup series ended with number 13, the Stranger appeared in the main story of Saga of the Swamp Thing number 14. After Saga of the Swamp Thing became Swamp Thing Volume 2, written by Alan Moore, the Stranger became an occasionally reoccurring character, as Swamp Thing became more involved with the afterlife and the mystical world. So, Volume 3 series for him, the Stranger also starred in a mini-series in 1987. This series portrayed him as an agent of the Lords of Order. They temporarily stripped the Stranger of his powers due to his desire to continue to battle against the Lords of Chaos. This went against the wishes of the Lords of Order, who had believed a victory by the darkness over light was necessary and preordained. This series featured Eclipso as the agent of Chaos. Actions Weekly. So during the period of 1988 through 89, when Action Comics became the anthology Action Comics Weekly, one rotating strip featured the Phantom Stranger. It explicitly continued the continuity of the Phantom Stranger from the Volume 2, so the 70s. The story of Volume 2 in the Actions Weekly strip was resolved in Neil Gaiman's proposed story, concluding the whole of Action Comics. This was published years later.
That guy was active that long ago?
I know.
Fuck.
In the late 80s.
Jesus.
Yeah. This was published years later as a non-canonical in Green Lantern Superman, Legend of the Green Flame. In this story, the Stranger claims that he belongs to no group, including the servants of the Lords of Order. The Lords of Order threaten to strip him of his powers, and he leaves, claiming that he shall continue to wander. We have Volume 4.
These boots were made for walking, and that's what I'm about to do. And he just fucking walks out.
And these boots will walk all over you, bitch. In Volume 4, The Phantom Stranger received a new ongoing series in September 2012, written by Dan Didio. So
Good old Dan Didio.
Fucked up all.
Good old Didio.
And drawn by Brent Anderson. The series was retitled as Trinity of Sin, The Phantom Stranger, as in issue number 9, and canceled as of number 22. And this happened from August of 2013 to October of 2014. Justice League membership. The Phantom Stranger is better known for his role as a supernatural assistant to other heroes such as the Justice League. His status was either a full, reserve, or honorary member of the Justice League is debatable, though. As a vote of the majority of the team in the Justice League of America number 103, they offered him membership, with Superman declaring that the Stranger, a member without qualification, though he left before accepting. This issue was part of an unofficial meta-fictional crossover with Marvel Comics, spanning titles from both of the major comics companies. Beginning in Marvel's Amazing Adventures number 16, the story continued in DC's Justice League of America number 103. It was concluded in Thor number 207.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it went between the two.
Yeah.
Each comic features writers Steve Englehart, Gary Conway, and Lynn Wayne, as well as Wayne's first wife, Glynis, interacting with Marvel or DC characters as the Rutland Halloween Parade in Rutland, Vermont. The Phantom Stranger has at least twice asserted his membership status when other leaguers challenged his input, during the vote on the League's readmission of Wonder Woman, and during the crossover with the Avengers.
He pulls out a laminated pass to see that.
See, bitch, I am.
JLA right there.
Pulls it out like Sheldon Cooper.
And pulls it over his he pulls it over his neck. There you
go. In contrast, many in-story accounts of League membership fail to include the Stranger. When Zatanna was admitted as a member, Superman and Hawkman clarified that the 12-member limit of the Justice League's charter had been rewritten previously to admit Hawkgirl as the 13th. Writer Lynn Wayne commented on the Phantom Stranger's relationship with the JLA in 2012 interview, stating that the character only sort of joined. He was offered membership but vanished, as per usual, without actually accepting the offer. Over the years, other writers have just assumed he was a member, but in my world, he never really was.
Damn.
So, in story lore for him,
yeah,
as the origin, unusual for comic book characters of such longevity, nothing in the way of personal data about the Phantom Stranger, like his real name, his true nature, or his origins, have ever been revealed. In 1987, DC produced a special issue in Secret Origins that postulated 4 possible origins for him. Number 1, in a variation of the Wandering Jew story, he is a man named Isaac with a wife, Rebecca, and a young son in Bethlehem during the time of
Rebecca was the one that turned into salt when she looked back?
I think so, maybe. During the time of Jesus' childhood, when King Herod heard that there was a child born that would become the king of the Jews, he ordered the massacre of the innocents to kill the Christ child. Among the people killed were Isaac's wife and son.
Damn.
Blind with anger, he spent the next 30 years raging against Jesus. During the passion of Jesus, Isaac bribes a guard to let him take place and participate in the flagellation of Christ. Jesus condemns Isaac to tarry in this world until I come again. Centuries after the crucifixion, Isaac repents. He has spent his life helping mankind ever since, evidently finding the task so agreeably fulfilling that, to the present day, he politely declines an offer from God to release him from his penance.
Like for years, like, we good yet, Jesus? Are we good or not? Are we good yet?
But he likes doing his
what
job.
What about now? Are we good? But for real, though, are we good or not? I'm fucking exhausted.
I'm tired of walking.
I'm turd, boss. I'm turd.
The number 2 background that he had. The stranger was a man in biblical times who was spared God's wrath by an angel. Questioning God's actions, he commits suicide. The angel forbids his spirit from entering the afterlife, reanimates his body, and condemns him to walk the world forever as part of humanity, but also forever separated from it. The angel also erases all of the man's memories from his past life. He then discovers his divine charge to turn humanity away from evil, one soul at a time. Some versions of this story imply that the angel was the incarnation of the specter in that time period. So basically, the specter is the one that condemned him.
So they're all, well, they give like the Joker type of origin where it's like hundreds of different stories.
Yeah. The number 3 possibility, the Phantom Stranger is a being caught in a time loop. Near the end of the universe, the Phantom Stranger approaches a group of scientists who are trying to transfer energy from the Big Bang to extend the life of the universe. The Phantom Stranger realizes that one of the scientists is in reality an avatar of the anti-life, and that their efforts will prevent the universe from ever existing. The story concludes with Phantom Stranger passing a portion of himself to a scientist who dives through the portal to the Big Bang, intercepts the beam that would have drained the Big Bang, and becomes the Phantom Stranger, completing the cycle.
Okay.
Which is a weird...
Yeah, it's the weirdest one so far.
And the 4th origin that came up in the story.
Him as Ted Danson. He was the actor, and he became...
The Phantom Stranger was a fallen angel who sided with neither heaven or hell during Lucifer's rebellion and thus condemned to walk the earth.
No, he's on both of them now. No.
Over and over.
Yeah, it's on both sides now.
In the comic book miniseries, The Trenchcoat Brigade, John Constantine sees the 4th origin story as essentially correct. Vertigo Vision's Phantom Stranger number 1 by Alyssa Whitney and Guy Davis builds upon Alan Moore's Fallen Angel story from Secret Origins and adds a story of a woman called Nama, who was condemned to hell for loving an angel. This angel is strongly hinted to have been the Phantom Stranger. This angel, another possible origin was hinted at in The Kingdom Come, The Kingdom, in which it was implied that Jonathan Kent, the future son of Superman and Wonder Woman, might grow up to be the Phantom Stranger.
Jesus.
Which is a weird...
Just throwing all sorts of stuff at us.
Kind of, yeah. They also tied some of his abilities into the hypertime concept, giving him the innate ability to enter alternate timelines and to exist in spaces between them. The story ultimately revealed this to be a red herring. The character in question has been deliberately drawn in shadows to suggest that he was the stranger. But whenever Wonder Woman finally saw his face, she said that she now realized that it was not the stranger they knew.
Oh, you fugly. It was back in the day when, COVID was going around.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone had the mask on, right?
Yeah.
And then, when you started taking the mask off.
It's like, ooh. His appearances and titles featuring Dr. Fate reveal that the stranger was a servant of the Lords of Order during the 9th Age of Magic, at least. This may be a later development, unrelated to his actual origin, though. And Phantom Stranger number 0 from 2012. The Phantom Stranger is Judas Iscariot.
Oh, that's the one that I was telling you about, wasn't it?
Yeah. He is judged by the Circle of Eternity, who also are implied to be proxies for a higher power. The stranger is condemned to walk the earth forever as an agent of God. He wears a necklace made of the 30 pieces of silver, which he took as payment for betraying Jesus.
So he's just walking with bling.
Yeah. When the stranger facilitates the transformation of Jim Corrigan into the Spectre, one of the coins falls from the necklace and crumbles, bringing him one step closer to redemption.
Damn, that's years later.
Yeah.
He's got 29 to go. Oh, God damn.
And that's what I was talking about when we were talking about the Spectre, how he fucked up the Spectre's life, basically.
Jesus, that was one fucking coin?
Yeah. One coin.
What the fuck's he got to do? Jesus Christ.
In his earliest appearances, the Phantom Stranger would prove supernatural events to be hoaxes perpetrated by criminals. He would directly confront the villains and displayed no supernatural abilities apart from perhaps his uncanny ability to appear where and when he was needed and to disappear just as mysteriously.
Wait, which version is this?
This is one of the original versions.
So he's just a regular guy?
Is what he, at least that's what he was portrayed as. With nobody seeing him coming or going. In later stories, his supernatural events were real and the Phantom Stranger was given unspecified supernatural powers of his own to defeat them. For example, he was able to control a smoke-based sedative with a gesture, claiming that smoke itself is an ally.
Look at this ganja right here. Look at that sticky icky. He just sells weed on the side.
Chloroform smoke. In his second comic book series, the Phantom Stranger became a truly supernatural hero. The Phantom Stranger played a major part in Neil Gaiman's The Books of Magic, taking protagonist Tim Hunter through time to show him the history and nature of magic. He has assisted the Justice League on numerous occasions, even being formally elected to the group, although he did not acknowledge his membership until Justice League number 143. The Stranger also had his own limited
Yeah, well,
series.
he needed like dental work, so that's when he now he's a member all of a sudden, like it's used the benefits.
He needed those health benefits.
He went to the dentist office. He's like, I'm a JLA member, so you know all my dental work is free.
You know, Bruce pays for it.
I mean, Batman. That's all. He just drops it randomly. Bruce Wayne, Batman.
Oh, never mind. Mine wiped.
Instead of my wife, he burns the whole place down.
And then you see you smoke that he controlled. The Stranger also had his own limited series where, lacking much of his power, he tries to foil Eclipso's plan to cause a nuclear war. During Kevin Smith's relaunch of the Green Arrow,
Kevin Smith.
he prevented Hal Jordan from uniting with his resurrected body of Oliver Queen with his soul in heaven. This earned him Jordan's wrath indeed. The Spectre threatened to judge the Stranger to see whether God had punished him properly for refusing him access to heaven himself.
What's the word? Double jeopardy. You can't punish me twice for the same crime.
Nonetheless, the Phantom Stranger assisted Hal Jordan during his tenure as the Spectre on numerous occasions as well, most notably in a short stint babysitting Hal's niece Helen.
Well, another coin drops. Finally.
By taking care of a kid.
You don't understand how fucking brutal this kid was. So fucking crayon marks all over his fucking jacket and shit. Fucking vomit on his fucking shoes.
Hats all in tatters.
Fucking silly putty in his fucking coat pocket. Like, God dang it.
This little bitch. Fuck them kids.
I mean, this lovely child.
He says, fuck them kids, and he gets coin back. In 2005's Day of Vengeance, God, I forgot that it was 2005.
Day of Vengeance, yeah.
The Phantom Stranger had been turned into a mouse by the Spectre. Upon the Spectre's confrontation and battle with the Stranger states, "You can't kill me." I doubt that the universe would allow it. He was still able to advise Detective Chimp, however, who sheltered him in his hat while he regained his powers.
Oh, yeah, he was with him the whole fucking time. I forgot about that.
He changed back using recovered energies in Day of Vengeance number 6 and aided the Shadow Pact, allowing them to see the battle between the Spectre and Shazam.
And my boys, the Shadow Pack.
Yep.
I ended up buying the first issue and I lost it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I had issue 1 of the Shadow Pact.
The series makes a point that the supernatural community generally regards the Phantom Stranger as invincible. The first reaction to some characters seeing that the Spectre's assault on magic is simply to presume that the Stranger will take care of it. Other stories have shown the Stranger to be nearly as powerful as the Spectre, which in Day of Vengeance, kind of, but like he couldn't beat him, and the Spectre couldn't kill him, so
like we're at an impasse, I see.
In Day of Vengeance, Infinite Crisis Special number 1, the Phantom Stranger works with Nabu, Dr. Occult, Zatanna, the Shadow Pact, and other mystics to reform the Rock of Eternity and help defeat the Madden Spectre. The Phantom Stranger's relationships with the other mystics heroes are usually a bit tense. The Stranger has no qualms gathering various forces to combat a certain evil, often invading those people's personal lives. However, he does not usually extend them the same courtesy. The Phantom Stranger has resisted such people as Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate in this, although Dr. Fate is, in almost any incarnation, an ally of the Stranger. Despite this, he does get along. God, if I can even talk, he does get along well with Zatanna. In Justice League,
he does.
Strange Danger. In Justice League of America number 6, he appeared by her side to help her remove the influence of Faust.
Guess who's back? You can't put a good man down.
He just every turn.
Always comes back. Always fucking. Like at least he's a trier. He's not a quitter.
Obviously, he tried a lot. His influence, though, on the Red Tornado and in the Justice series, he seems to have a fatherly affection for her, calling her "my dear."
My boo.
My boo. Since he is ultimately an unpredictable force, others often meet the Phantom Stranger's appearance with distrust. Nonetheless, most heroes will follow him, seeing not only his immense power, but also knowing that the stranger is, in the end, a force for good. He is generally shown to side with humanity first in many supernatural-based problems, such as whenever he aided Superman in a confrontation with the magician Arion, who attempted to force Superman to retire in the belief that Superman and other alien heroes would hold back the darkness that would make civilization. Arion describing human history and existence in a cycle that would allow humanity to develop to a certain point before they collapsed and have to start again. For so long that it would destroy humanity whenever it came. Although the stranger acknowledged that the future Arion had foreseen, where Earth was completely destroyed by the mysterious and powerful Kyber due to Superman delaying him for so long that he only struck at his peak was possible, he also told Superman to keep fighting to find another way at the cost of, as the cost in souls and experience if Arion succeeded was too great. A notable exception to the heroes who will work with the stranger is Madame Xanadu, who has refused to join the stranger on a few occasions. Although she is a member of the Sentinels of Magic, eventually it is revealed that Madame Xanadu's hatred for the Phantom Stranger stems from his involvement in the events costing young Namu her powers and heritage, and turning the young Fae into the immortal yet powerless clairvoyant. So it's because of the Phantom Stranger is fucking everybody's lives, though. He makes Jim Corrigan die.
Where is he, Constantine?
The stranger also holds a unique relationship with the Spectre, as the two forces often come into conflict. He was responsible for gathering a group of mystic heroes to combat the Spectre whenever he lost his human host Jim Corrigan, seemingly losing control of the Spectre. The Phantom Stranger participated in Jim Corrigan's funeral whenever Corrigan's soul finally earned its rest and left the Spectre. The Stranger subsequently became one of the forces that stood against the Spectre whenever he went on the rampage without a human host, until the soul of Hal Jordan bonded with it. The Stranger occasionally took on an adversary role to the Spectre. In Infinite Crisis number 6, aware that the Spectre has yet another new host, the Phantom Stranger gathered a large group of magic wielders in an unsuccessful attempt to solicit the Spectre's assistance in the crisis.
Jeez, a lot of S's in that one.
It's like whenever I was saying it, it's like, fuck, if I start just going,
Your whole fresher just rinsed its sweat.
It's like just need water after all that, but a lot of S's. In the Madame Xanadu series, the first encounter between the then young and innocent Namu, as Xanadu was known in the Arthurian age, the Phantom Stranger himself is told. There, Namu acknowledges his unearthly nature, describing him as ageless and yet so uneasy, and claiming, "You're not human, nor are you of the ancient folk, nor fey creature, nor demon." Before Namu was able
this whole time, it just turned out he was a Martian, like Martian Man. Is it surprise?
just shape-shifting.
I'm his brother.
My name's John Jones.
My name's Jimmy Jones. I'm his brother.
Before Namu was able to grasp his nature, the stranger goes away, claiming to be compelled by counsel and yet forbidden to interfere in the course of history.
And like one of those guys, the guy that always has the answer after the accidents happen.
Kind of.
What they should have done is they should have fire exits outside the building. That way they wouldn't all burn inside. He just fucking disappears.
In the pages of Shadow Pact, the Phantom Stranger has adopted the role of narrator. He is shown to be aware of the mystical happenings not only to Earth but across several dimensions. Once again, he is shown to be unable to interfere, no matter how dire the danger is that he's watching.
He's just watching the guy drown like, I can't interfere. Just reach your hand out.
Basically, he plays a lot of the role as Uatu. He's almost
a watcher.
Yeah, he's almost like that.
So I can't help you, and he's just drowning in his own pool.
But he doesn't seem to have the same liabilities that Uatu has in Marvel, so he can interfere, even though he says he can't.
Maybe he's just lazy.
I think that might be what it is. In Blackest Night, Black Hand refers to the Phantom Stranger as neither dead nor alive, meaning he cannot be killed, resurrected, or raised as a Black Lantern. The Stranger watches as a Black Lantern ring attaches itself to Crispus Allen's body, turning him into a Black Lantern and sealing the Spectre within him. In the tie-in one-shot revival of Phantom Stranger number 42, the Stranger, with the help of Blue Devil, attempts to fight the Black Lantern Spectre, but fails. The two then travel to Nanda Parbat, where the Stranger helps Deadman remove the black ring from his body. The Stranger has the body brought into Nanda Parbat and placed under guard, stating that it is of singular importance. In the New 52, Special Edition 1, as part of the New 52 reboot, the Phantom Stranger was implied to be Judas Iscariot and part of the Trinity of Sin with Pandora and the Question.
Those are all allegations and lies.
While not named explicitly, the necklace he wears is presumed to be made of the 30 pieces of silver he received from the betrayal of Jesus Christ. His hair and eyes became totally white from the experience. Phantom Stranger number 0 confirmed that Phantom Stranger was once known as Judas Iscariot, the man who betrayed Jesus. In his origin tale, he is about to hang himself with a suicide attempt is stopped by a mysterious group of individuals. He is subsequently judged along with Pandora of Pandora's Box fame and another man who was turned into the Question.
Narcissus or whatever the fuck he was.
Mm-hmm. Thousands of years later, he is guided to help desperate former detective Jim Corrigan find his kidnapped girlfriend. He leads him to the abandoned warehouse where she has been kept, but this turns out to be a trap. Corrigan is killed by the kidnappers, then transformed into the Spectre and accuses the stranger of betraying him.
That when he was fucking dumped in a barrel and was a man dumped in a fucking pool or some shit. We said it.
Yep.
Like we said it was. We said they said it was like in a water. But we said it was a pool somewhere.
Just a pool.
Just someone's pool.
A pond. As the Spectre is about to attack the stranger, a mysterious voice sends him off to inflict his wrath on the more deserving. As payment for what occurred with Corrigan, 1 coin drops off of his necklace that he was cursed with.
Like done and done.
And the stranger realizes he has more encounters ahead of him before he is forgiven.
Yeah, like fucking 1,000 of them, it looks like. If it takes that grand of
turning Jim Corrigan into the Spectre.
That's such a grand gesture for him to just fucking lose a coin. That's insane.
Yeah. Pandora meets the Phantom Stranger and tells him that she needs his help to find the person who can open her box. He refuses.
He's like, oh, that's the first line to a porno.
Open my box open.
It's like, all right, but I got to tell you, they don't call me the stranger for no reason.
And you won't remember what happened. And then he gets his gas.
The room just fucking lights up with like a disco ball comes out of the fucking ceiling. Girl, when I went to wrong, I can't him had a hella. I don't know the words of the song, but you know what the song I'm talking about.
He refuses, reminding her of the last time her box was open. When the sins of the world were open.
Girl, you a freak. I got time for that madness again.
They're all just simps.
He's like, no, girl, not again.
That's the box of open.
My thing just barely healed itself.
I lost 1 point. I don't need it back. Releasing all that sin into this world.
Use those coins as a fucking anal beads.
Shit, wait. Oh, fuck. To this, she responds that she only wants to save everyone from what she had unleashed. John Constantine tries to con the Phantom Stranger to join the Justice League Dark by promising to return one of the silver coins bound to him through his punishment.
You get my coin back?
He'll make the coin come back.
That's fucked up, Constantine.
Constantine?
Constantine. That's what the Phantom Stranger calls him?
The Phantom Stranger rejects the offer, but Constantine feels he will eventually come around and be on the Justice League dark side. The Question manipulates Dr. 13 to impale the Phantom Stranger with the Spear of Destiny. The Phantom Stranger is left on the door of the House of Mystery, and the Justice League Dark attempt to revive him, summoning the Nightmare Nurse.
Jesus.
Once they do revive him, the Phantom Stranger states that they are all in his debt and asks the Justice League Dark, specifically Zatanna, to help him enter Hell and save his family. Zariel warns the Phantom Stranger that he is never allowed to enter heaven again, having gone to Hell to try to save his family. Zariel also states to the Phantom Stranger that if he tries, he will be erased from time and history forever.
He's like, you promise?
Just be gone completely.
Yeah, basically. That's what he's looking for.
So, basically, the powers and abilities of the Phantom Stranger. The natures of these are mysterious as the Stranger himself, who seems to be effectively immortal, never aging, which I don't know why during, research that, you have to use both of those. But
he doesn't age yet, he's immortal. What if he just kept getting older forever? But he never died.
Oh, that would suck so bad.
I used to be a young man like you in a wheelchair.
Professor X style.
Good Lord. That wouldn't be fucked up. Because, okay, so yeah, he can't age. Great. But
Right.
if you were a vampire, right? And you
And
were
just kept growing
you
older and older.
just keep getting older.
No, it sucked. Eventually, just like decrepit old.
Crepit old fucking skeleton.
The Phantom Stranger has demonstrated enormous powers and capabilities, the exact origin of which are undetermined. He can travel enormous distances in a very short time, such as the JLA Watchtower and Apocalypse, as well as to mystical dimensions such as heaven, hell, and the realm occupied by the Quintessence, which is basically right before heaven, because he can't get into actual
Waiting room.
Right.
Number 17.
He can fire energy bolts of great force, travel through time, dispel magic, reveal illusions, and
Specifically, feel fucking magic.
everything. Wonder Woman fucks it up, and
Phantom Stranger messes with his spells.
I think everybody we've talked about in this podcast that it fucks it up. Naboo, Dr. Fate,
Damn, I can't catch a break around here.
and survive in space without any type of life support system. On one occasion, he created a mystical shield that protected Superman from any spells cast against him directly in preparation for Superman's upcoming confrontation with Arion. The limits of his power have not been defined. In many cases, despite his obvious capabilities, he claims he is not allowed to end a crisis directly, only to guide others to take the necessary actions. The Phantom Stranger's greatest and most well-known power is his mysterious omniscience. He seems to know nearly everything about any character and situation he encounters in the DC universe. And with the JLA Avengers crossover, this extends to the Marvel universe as well.
Jesus.
Which is...
Hey, Peter Parker. What the fuck?
So that means he knows more than Uatu, and Uatu watches everything.
That freak watches everything.
With a bit, it's like his bulbous. However, this is disproved in Swamp Thing Annual number 2. This allows him to provide helpful advice and assistance to others. He claims that nothing remains hidden from him. His stranger just peeking through your window. His knowledge has even allowed him to come to the aid of the DC Universe characters trapped out of their own times. Animal Man number 19. Animal Man had found himself trapped in the 1960s in a ghost-like state in between reality and non-reality. He wandered listlessly until the stranger met him and offered a helping hand. The stranger was already aware of Animal Man's current situation and even knew that he was from the future. In Swamp Thing number 2, Annual number 2, the stranger was not completely aware of all the details of Alex Holland's transformation into the Swamp Thing, though he knew enough to be aware that the swamp creature's existence in life, but was still surprised whenever he encountered the shade of Alex Holland in heaven, as he had assumed the creature and Holland were one and the same. But apparently they're not.
So he's almost omnipotent.
But just not completely.
Yeah.
The Phantom Stranger is one of the few true immortals in the DC Universe actually incapable of being killed. When attacked by the Spectre in the Day of Vengeance story, the Stranger expressed doubt that even the Spectre could kill him, mysteriously adding, "I doubt the universe would allow it." The Spectre resorted to transforming this stranger into a harmless mouse. After killing the Phantom Stranger was indeed beyond the Spectre's power. Like the only one that'd be able to kill the Phantom Stranger is God, basically. Although the Phantom Stranger does not wear a mask, the shadow of his fedora almost constantly cloaks his eyes.
I always imagine him with like the blue mask over his eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me in my head.
It's just you in your head. He never has worn a mask.
Damn.
But
It looks like it.
The perception is it actually is true. When shown unhatted in the Madame Xanadu miniseries, set in the Arthurian age where the stranger disguised with a simple cloak, his eyes appear completely white, devoid of irises and pupils, and sunk in a gaunt, sad visage. So, like, you still never get any true details out of it. But, yep, that is Phantom Stranger.
Man, living quite the life.
Yeah.
Neither living nor dead.
And now we know that Pandora wanted him in her box. Open my box, Phantom Stranger.
Come on, baby.
I ain't let that sit into this shit. That's bad. We don't want that sitting there.
Some bad juju right there.
Last time it happened, you created everything bad. You taught these people what they shouldn't have known.